What's going on, people? This is Mehul, and right now I'm here with Donnie Klang. What's going on, brother?
How are you?
I'm not too bad, bro. I'm not too bad.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for kind of inviting me down to Loft Sound Studio.
Yeah,
it's quite a cool place. It's quite
you.
a cool place, but let's kind of take it all the way back to the beginning, shall we? How'd you kind of get started in music?
Yeah, that takes it way back. I grew up in Brooklyn.
Yep.
If anybody's familiar with New York, Brooklyn is very big on music. Biggie came out of Brooklyn, and
Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z. Bunch of big rappers, hip hop artists, R&B music really influenced me a lot. So it all started back then. My parents got divorced when I was young, and my dad was always into like more of like the doo-wop oldies, and my mom was into the soulful stuff.
Yep.
So I kind of grew up in that world of like pop R&B. And then I got real big on 90s R&B groups, Boyz II Men, Jodeci, stuff like that. And then I was big also with like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, that type of stuff. So I started singing just all throughout that time. I moved out to Long Island for high school, and I met one of my buddies that he's my business partner here, Matthew Laporte. We basically started singing at 14 and we haven't stopped.
Nice, nice. Well, that obviously kind of led you on to making the band.
Yeah.
Obviously, thousands of people entered that show. You made it all the way down to the final, got offered a deal by Diddy. What was that whole experience like?
It was very crazy. It took up about 5 years of my life, from about 2007 to 2011, 2012. And it almost feels like it didn't happen. Yeah. It was like a weird dream that like, was that my life for a few years? Like,
it's unreal. Yeah,
living out of suitcases, staying at Diddy's house in Miami, in LA, his apartment in the city in New York. Very, very surreal, just getting a chance to basically live the dream, just going on tour, making an album, doing the music videos, all that stuff. Yeah, it was amazing.
It's unreal, but like, as a creative person, as sort of all musicians are, was it kind of difficult to kind of have a camera like on you 24/7 and you just being kind of there under pressure to make something?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you almost end up forgetting the cameras are there. It almost gets to the point where it's like you're so used to the cameras that you start to you might slip and say something that people like. I've been watching the new Jersey Shore that just came back out, and I talk to people and they're like, how does Ronnie possibly say that stuff? He knows his girlfriend or whatever, baby mom, is gonna watch the show. You forget sometimes, especially when there's alcohol involved.
Oh goodness.
Yeah.
Obviously on that show you probably had a lot of highs and lows. What were probably sort of your key standout moments?
Yeah, definitely being around Puff, getting a chance to learn from a huge mogul in the business. You know, he has Ciroc, he has record label, he has his clothing line, he has fragrances, he has so much going on. And back then it was like right at the beginning of iPhones. He had like his iPhone, 2 Blackberries, 3 laptops, like 4 assistants. It was crazy, but you learn like you have to be multifaceted, you have to be constantly branding, you have to be working harder than everybody, no sleep, just putting in the time and energy, because if there's one thing I learned from him, there's always somebody that's coming to try to take your spot.
I'm gonna make it, I'm gonna make it, time again, I try to get myself this misery, I'm all alone.
People do remember is from that first season where you guys had to walk around New York and get the cheesecake. Yeah. Surely didn't you at a moment think, why are we doing this? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. It's in hindsight you definitely see why we were doing it. I mean, it's like obviously just trying to keep everybody humble. You never know, like if you make it in this business, it could be here one day and it could be taken the next. Everything, fame is so fleeting. Money, once you make money, you start spending more money. So it's almost like it goes faster than it comes.
Yeah.
So little things like that, like the walking for the cheesecake, and we actually, I don't even know if they aired it. As a part of that, we also had to go around collecting money for the homeless. Yeah. So there was always like a method to the madness. Yeah.
And then you had to go do a show straight after.
Yeah, we did. It was crazy because it was February and it was about 2 degrees out, and we were out. We ended up, when we did that whole walk, we were out for like 30-something straight hours, no sleep, in the cold, singing on street corners, like, and then we had the show coming up. But that preps you for that life. That life is crazy, because then once we did get our record deals, you're getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go to a radio station interview. Then you're going to the morning TV. Then you're going to another radio. Then you're doing a little lunchtime performance at a place for a radio station. Then you're doing your big concert. Then you're doing the after party at a club. And you get in at 3 and you start over the next day at 4
Very full on, very full on.
Yeah.
So obviously that kind of led you to releasing your first album. What was that kind of like? Was it sort of like, yes, I've made it, that's it? Or was it like, I've got to keep working, hustling for it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely learned a lot. I had probably the wrong management at the time. My mom was also very involved, and the management I took on was recommended by Diddy.
Yes.
So it was almost like we didn't fight for certain things because they were almost on the same team with each other. So there were certain things, especially musically, that I would have loved to have gotten into my projects. And I was always big on writing a lot of my own stuff back then. I had gone through a breakup. I was big on writing, and pretty much none of the content that I was writing was making it into the album. So it was tough. It was definitely a learning experience, but getting to do the album was sick. That was just like...
Still a good album, still a good album.
Thank you.
I still bang some of the tunes to this day. I still bang some of the tunes to this day.
I got to work with some huge producers and just be a sponge in the studio and learn everything from these engineers to the producers to the songwriters to the vocal engineers and stuff, and obviously turn it into
this. But obviously you kind of just mentioned earlier about sort of working with Puff and kind of picking up all these bits of advice from him. What's like probably the biggest thing that you learned from him?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say just hard work, branding would probably be one of the main things. Yeah, just from, I mean, I did 2 years in college, but it was almost like I look back and the making the band experience was like my college experience. I got to learn and grow through that time. It was almost like I was dorming with the guys. It was a very like college experience. So just definitely getting to learn about just the marketing side of everything, and then growing with social media, because back then it was MySpace.
It was new, it was fairly new.
And then it was Facebook, and then YouTube really started taking off, so we kind of like grew with all the platforms,
Catch me, 'cause I'm falling for you. I'm falling for you. I'm falling for you. For you, baby, can you catch me? 'Cause I'm falling for you.
Speaking of the guys, Day 26 last year kind of got back together. Do you still kind of keep in touch with them?
Yeah, so this past August was the 10-year anniversary of when we all got signed, that big finale. So they did a big show in New York City. I came out, I did one of the songs with them, and then now I think they're back on tour. They did a reunion tour now. But I keep in touch with all 5 of them. They're all like brothers to me. That experience, we obviously bonded, and
it's like a once in a lifetime. Like only people that did it will truly know.
And I'm a huge fan of them too, even if I had never known them. I, like you said, you bumped my songs. I bumped their songs all the time to this day.
It's mad that you kind of spoke about that reunion show, because back in England, the only way we could have watched it is through literally people recording it on their phones, putting it on YouTube. Effectively, someone kind of put the whole thing up, so I was just watching it. And I think it was obviously during Exclusive that they kind of stopped it, pulled you out, and the crowd just went insane. Like, I was like, oh man, they put a smile on my face. Like, you guys are still together. Like, how did it feel kind of just coming out and just getting that reaction still?
I have goosebumps even thinking about it, because it's definitely been a while. I've been more behind the scenes now. I've been working on growing my own business and my own artists that I've been developing. So, I mean, the Janes, who you've been seeing running around here, they're one of our biggest projects right now. And I tell everybody, they're like, when are you going to come back out with music? I'm kind of living vicariously through them. And then I take them to their shows, and I'm right there.
You're there, Puff.
Basically, So it's but that moment over the summer kind of gave me that itch.
To get it back.
So we'll see.
It's still there, so you're not ruling out completely.
Not completely.
It still could be a few records coming out in the pipeline.
This ring here represents my heart, but there's just
we're here at the sort of the Loft Sound Studio. Kind of tell me a little bit sort of about what it is and what you do here.
Yeah, so the Loft Sound Studio is a business I started about 7 years ago with one of my buddies I grew up singing with. We used to be in a boy band back in the day. This was even before making the band.
Okay.
And then we kind of went through the ringer. We were signed with Beyonce's dad, Matthew Knowles. It was a tough scenario, but we learned from a young age about the business side of everything and then also about development.
Yeah.
So we had just built, Matt was very good with engineering and construction. He built a studio in his parents' basement. Okay. And basically how we learned to sing and develop ourselves was through the process of recording. So we wanted to start a business where now we could use our network and connections of people that we've met and I met through my bad boy days.
Yep.
And then also use our knowledge of how to develop not only like a singer and a vocalist, but a musician and a full-on recording artist.
Yeah.
That's what
the full 360.
Yeah, that's what works nowadays. So the Loft Sound Studio is we have recording studio rooms, we have a big rehearsal room, we're actually building the stage now, we're going to do a little acoustic, open mic night type of stuff, but we do a ton of rehearsals, we do photos, videos, basically everything that you need to become an artist from the ground up.
Right here. And I think one of the biggest sort of exports from here is Madison Beer.
Yeah.
What was it kind of like working with her in her early days?
Yeah, so she was the second or third kid that ever came to us, and we knew it. You knew it right away when she came in the room. She definitely needed a lot of work and development, but she just had this presence about her when she sang. Even if some of the notes were off, she just was like, she sold it.
Yeah.
It was very confident, there was no sign of nerves, it was just, you felt that she was going to be a superstar.
Yeah.
So we developed her for close to a year, and then she got set up with Justin Bieber and his management, Scooter Braun, and then she got signed with Def Jam and had a whole big thing, and Justin Bieber in her videos and stuff.
All around the world.
Yeah. Now she's actually in the middle of her first sold out tour that she's been doing.
And it all started here.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's cool for us.
I know you kind of briefly kind of spoke earlier on sort of about the reality TV aspect. In England especially, like we've pretty much got one main show, which is the X Factor. And as it's going on, obviously when you did Making the Band, it was probably a lot more purer, where people just went on it to be musicians. Whereas now they're going in for the fame, or they're just going on to the show just to be like, it's an easy, quick way to kind of get famous and be a pop star. What advice would you guys give kind of someone who is wanting to go on a reality show?
Yeah, it's tough now because there is, I mean, you guys only have the one, but we have 4 or 5 of them, and then every country has their own version of it, and it's definitely very hard. There's a lot of politics behind it. Actually, through the Madison Beer situation, we developed a relationship with a bunch of these producers and casting directors for these shows. So we've actually helped some of our talent get onto those shows. So it's not what you see all the time on TV with the big cattle call and 100,000 people. Like, but then you get the person that goes to a private audition and they can get on the show. It's tough. Definitely don't go into it for the wrong reasons. Don't go in it for the TV time or the exposure. You got to go into it because you love what you do. And like you said, when we went to Making the Band, I didn't even think about the TV aspect. I loved what I was doing. It was, the experience of it was amazing, and that's what you should really go for, is the experience. Because the chances are you're not going to get through. There's so many people, so if you just take the odds of 1 in 100,000, you're probably not going to get through. But if you keep an open mind about it and you go on this line with 100,000 people that all love the same thing, and some of them might have some followers, some of them might be similar to your sound, and you just network and you meet new people, and then you could do collaborations, and that's really how you can get something going.
So encourage people to kind of almost network, use it as a networking opportunity.
And a learning experience, because I remember being in line for Making the Band, and these dudes were out singing me, out dancing me, and just like, I was just learning from everybody. Anybody I could, I was just trying to learn as much as I could.
You are here, you're obviously kind of bringing through the next few artists. Who can we kind of keep an eye out for from here?
Yeah, so definitely the Janes. They're at the Janes Life on social media. They are very close to making it. They've been under development for about 3.5 years. We've tried to we originally wanted to put together a boy band. We just had more female talent that came through our studio. We've been definitely developing and coaching them on the things that could go right and wrong in a group.
Yes.
We were in a group. I was around Donnie Klang. And you just see, it could be something so little, but if you just aired it out, we do these, we call it truth circles.
Yeah.
We just air out everybody's stuff so it doesn't boil up and then they fight and yell at each other and everything. So yeah, definitely the Janes are developed. Their craft is amazing. They're very talented. They're probably, I mean, it's taking a longer time, I feel like, because of the development side. It's definitely not something that happens as much anymore. There's a lot of these mumble rappers that come out and it's just like a one-hit wonder and then it's on to the next. We're definitely coaching them for more of a long career.
Oh, whoa. Believe when I say I want it that way. But we're 2 worlds apart and I can't reach to your heart when you say I want it that way. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why. I never wanna hear you say I want it that way.
Well, you as an artist, actually, you've kind of experienced being independent and signed by a big label. With many people that are coming up today as artists, for a period it was all like, I need to get signed, I need to get signed. But especially sort of with Chance being independent, winning a Grammy over in England, we got like Stormzy, he did sort of crazy numbers. What would you kind of recommend to someone? Would you want to stay independent for as long as you can, or try and get that deal?
Yeah, it's tough. That's a very tough question. Obviously, the labels are still around for a reason. They definitely have their hooks, especially here in America with radio and that big machine marketing to be able to put a lot of money behind you. The real bottom line is just it ends up, it's sad to say, but it ends up coming down to money and marketing dollars. So if you're, it's a business at the end of the day. So if you're able to either get some backing behind you, because even like all these guys you mentioned, they ended up getting some kind of backing behind them where they were able to push it as if it was the big machine pushing it. So it's tough. First and foremost, you need to just work on your craft, develop and love and not forget why you started doing it. And if it ends up becoming about money, and that's even why I kind of stopped my career as a musician for a while, just because towards the end of everything, shows started to slow down and it became like, oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna take this show because I have to somehow pay my rent next month. So when it got to that point, I said I need to just take a step back, reset, and I'll do it again if and when I get to that point where I can just do it because I love to do it and not for any type of money reason. But yeah, it's you could put a business and a team behind you and work on it independently. If not, work on finding your way into getting a record deal, definitely.
What would be sort of the big 3 things you've learned sort of over the past 10 years that's kind of helped you grow?
Yeah, the big 3 things that I've learned over the past 10 years would be, first and foremost, I can't say it enough, obviously branding. We try to put our logo everywhere. We have a red carpet in here, so when kids take photos, and just knowing how to capitalize on the times. Obviously everything changes every couple of years. We added spaces in our studio where it almost feels like you want to take a photo in front of that spot, and then you're tagging yourself. That's how our business even has any type of clients. We never really marketed. It was all word of mouth and people posting on social media. So definitely branding is huge. Definitely stay humble. That is one thing I learned, just because, you know, I've seen it firsthand where it could feel like you own the world, you're on top of the world, and then the next day it's like
one decision,
out of sight, out of mind. One wrong decision, one bad business move, one bad kind of like business venture, and it could all be gone as fast as it came. So definitely stay humble. And then number 3, just never ever forget why you started to do it, because that could even happen. You know, like, I remember there was times I was so tired, I was living out of a suitcase, I was like, it's a huge sacrifice to be in this business. I was missing weddings and people being born in my family and missing like key moments, even family members passing away and I wasn't able to make it to the funeral or something like that. It takes a lot of sacrifice, and it's very easy to forget why you started doing whatever it is that you do, playing an instrument or singing. Just, you always gotta have something that reminds you of, oh yeah, I remember when I was 4 years old and I was sitting there with my first Sony, and I was singing along to a Boyz II Men song. Like, you have to keep reminding yourself of those times.
Well, that was brilliant. Well, thank you for kind of speaking it to me here today.
Yeah, of course.
Hopefully we do get some music coming back from you out there. But yeah, is there anything you want to kind of say to your fans before we head off?
Yeah, just thank you guys for, you know, supporting us through the whole making the band journey, and if anybody still follows me and my projects, I appreciate it. Definitely check out the Janes at the Janes Life. The Loft Sound Studio is at Loft Sound Studio, and then I'm at Donnie Klang on social media. And just, yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I just, I'm still very thankful for everything that happened, and it's like I said, it's surreal. And there's definitely gonna, because there was one time I was supposed to go to the O2 Arena, and I don't know what happened, the show fell through or something, so I never got a chance to make it out there. So I might actually have to just get back into music just for
London, just come to London.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Donnie, bro. Thank you, man.
No problem.